What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out once again to Instinct Takes for the $5 donation via the Cash App. Alright, and he left a note, and yeah, James Harden did it again. Now, look, to be fair, he did have a big game against the Memphis Grizzlies. All right, 31 points, 31 points, 10 to 16 shooting from the floor, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, hit some big shots in that game. But against Boston, a top rival, he shrunk. All right, he wilted. Last night against the Miami Heat, who, even though record-wise they haven't been one of the best teams in the NBA, make no mistake about it, they're still a team that can be rather dangerous in the playoffs if they ever get their shit together. And predictably, James Harden against a marquee team, or at least a marquee team on paper, struggled yet again. James Harden against the Miami Heat in a loss scored 20 points, but he only shot 5 for 14 from the floor, 3 of 8 from three-point range, and committed 4 turnovers. As a matter of fact, in the last 3 games, James Harden has averaged 4 turnovers per game. But for some reason, these people who are bothered by turnovers don't seem to notice James Harden's turnovers. You know, for the life of me, I don't understand it. You know, James Harden has led the NBA in turnovers in his career a record 6 times, but amazingly, Skip Bayless doesn't seem to notice James Harden. He only seems to notice Russell Westbrook. And why is that? Because Skip Bayless does not like Russell Westbrook. And it goes all the way back to an incident that occurred in OKC. He doesn't like Russ. So because he doesn't like him, he's going to mercilessly attack him in the confines of his comfy studio with security all around. Look, I'm trying not to make this a habit of going after James Harden in the regular season, but this is just it's you know, I just hope this isn't, you just hope that this is an aberration, right? You hope this is an aberration, and, you know, he just happened to have a bad night. You got to look at, well, he did play well against Memphis, but it just happens too often where against the better teams, James Harden is just not there. Now, look, I know he's had some good games. I think he had a 30-point game against Boston earlier. I'm not saying he don't have some good games. But in games, how can I put this? In games that people are really paying attention to, right? Marquee games down the stretch when you're trying to get the seeding right, you know, games that really people are focusing on, when they become more important down the stretch or into the playoffs, that's when James Harden has a tendency to struggle. And I'm pretty sure he's had some big games. He's had some good games this year. But the last big game, when I say big game, I mean like, I'm not talking about like a 30-point performance. I'm talking about like Giannis dropping 50. Or when KD dropped 54 last year. Who was it against? The Knicks. You know, games that people remember. Like when LeBron dropped 56 against the Warriors. The last big game I remember James Harden having was when he had 44 and hit the game winner against the Warriors back when they were a championship team. That was way back when James Harden was with the Rockets. And I think it was 2019, maybe. That's the last big time performance James Harden had against a marquee team. Not the Pelicans, not Orlando. I'm talking about like against a marquee team. I can think of Kobe dropping 61 against the Knicks. I can think of, other great players having big games against great teams every now and then. Where James Harden is just, I can't think of it. But once again, look. Come on, James. And the media never calls him out. The media never calls this guy out when he has a bad game. But you rest assured, they're going to call out Russell Westbrook every time and go through intricate details of why he sucked whenever Russell Westbrook has a bad game. But James Harden, and what passes is he getting? He never won a championship. He's played with a whole bunch of great players too. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, both in their primes. Serge Ibaka in his prime. Then he went to Houston, played with Dwight Howard, right? Played with Carmelo Anthony, played with Chris Paul, played Russell Westbrook again. Then he played with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Now he's playing with Joel Embiid. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. But this guy's played with a lot of great players and has never won a damn thing. Choked in the NBA Finals in 2012. Didn't he shoot like 19% from the field or some shit? Choked in the NBA Finals in 2012. I remember there was some game in the postseason that the Rockets were supposed to win against the Spurs, and in a game where both Kawhi and I think Tony Parker was missing. I know Kawhi didn't play. Somehow San Antonio still won by 39 at Houston. He choked in Game 6 against the Warriors. He had 30 points in 3 quarters, but in the 4th quarter scored 5 points and committed 4 turnovers, while Steph Curry scored 20 of his 33 in the second half. He's just has a history of this shit. Last year in the playoffs, he had 12 or 13 playoff games, and 11 of them he sucked. So we're just gotta, I don't know, man. I'm just waiting to see when the media really start calling this guy out. I gave him praise, man. Maybe I should have waited another week. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.